Hopefully you're watching this after you watched the first part of the first video where we showed a cylinder and a sphere that have the same height and the same radius. And we took the sphere, filled it with water, and it filled up exactly 2/3 of a cylinder with the same height and the same radius. So that's important because if we take our volume of a cylinder formula, pi r squared h, because that's just the area of the base times the height, and we multiply by 2/3, then we have a formula for a sphere. However, it's kind of annoying to have r and h for a sphere. We can do better. So if we connect this and this, that's the height of the sphere, which is actually the diameter. So h equals d, which means h equals 2r. So we can plug this in right there and get a better formula. 2/3 pi r squared times 2r. Now we can move this 2 in the front because the order of multiplication doesn't matter. So let's do that. 2 times 2/3 times pi r squared. Class dismissed. Okay, back in session. 2 times 2 is 4 over 3. We got this pi here, and then we've got r squared times r, which is r cubed. That is the beautiful volume formula of a sphere. 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Now let's look and see how we can put this into practice. 4/3 pi r cubed. So we're going to make sure you read this as diameter. And this is radius. This is a big mistake. If we just plug in 6 in there, we're going to have to divide this by 2 first, and we get 3. So 4/3 times pi times 3 cubed. Let's go ahead and do the exponent first. Let's bump the pi in the back and keep this 4/3 here, because now we can do 4/3 times 27 and cross cancel. We get 4 times 9 is 36 pi, in case some math teacher asks you for exact values somewhere. And then we can get our calculator. Beast mode, hello. You might have noticed it says Wabbit Emu. That's another very cool name. But I like beast mode. 36 times pi. Let's say 113.1 cubic centimeters. Okay, fair enough. What about this basketball sphere? We know the volume, 4/3 pi r cubed, equals 145 pi. This is a challenging problem. What is the length of the radius? So we have to solve this equation. Remember, we've done a lot of equations like this where pi is on both sides, and you can just cancel it out because division cancels out multiplication. Now we're left with 4/3 r cubed equals 145. How do we get rid of this 4/3? Maybe you remember from algebra, or maybe we've done this before. The reciprocal will cancel it out, but we have to just multiply this one by the reciprocal. So we have r cubed equals, let's get out beast mode for this. Whoops, there he is. 145 times 3 over 4, and we get 108.75. That's fine. But now what in the world do we do? What number times itself 3 times equals 108.75? I have no idea. But we need to take the cube root of 108.75. Back when we were doing Pythagorean theorem, we were finding the square root a lot. Like to get c by itself, we just take the square root. But now we throw a little 3 in there. Maybe you didn't know this, but there's a secret 2 in there. Now we have to do that on our calculator. And so beast mode can do this in a couple ways. You hit the math button, and you go down to this, option 4, and it says cube root. And then you just type in your number, 108.75. Bam. So the radius is about 4.77. And another way to do this, which you'll learn in Algebra 2 later, is actually start with this number, 108.75, raise it to the power of 1/3, the reciprocal of 3. And it's the same thing. Kind of mind-blowing. Okay. Is that it? No, one more. Oh, yes, the volume of the ice cream cone. Notice I've broken this into right triangles. 18 is the diameter, so radius is 9. Let's just do that right away. How do we find the volume of an ice cream cone? So we need, that is not a sphere, is it? That is a hemisphere. So half of a sphere. 4/3 pi r cubed divided by 2. So what do we do with that 2? That 2 is going to end up multiplying by the 3, like this. And then we can simplify. That's 2/3 pi r cubed. So that's your volume for a hemisphere. So that's going to be for the top. But the bottom is going to be a cone, which we know is pi r squared h over 3 from previous sections. So we are going to combine those two together, add them up. So this is a challenge. Let's take the radius. Let's do the cone first. R is 9, so that's 81 pi. The height of the cone is 26 divided by 3. Okay, so let's get out beast mode. I can just do it like this, 81 pi times 26, because we're going to get a decimal here, divided by 3. 2205, let's just say 2205 and keep that number in our calculator, plus 2/3 pi r cubed. So all I have to do for this hemisphere, since I already took care of that, is 9 cubed. So let's say it like this, 2/3 times pi times 9 to the third power. Bam, 1526.8. Let's just say 1526.8 because I don't want to round. Now, I want to take this number plus, notice it says A and S plus, that's going to take the 1526.81403 plus 22.2205.398. Let's just stop there. And 3732. 3732. So I could ask you for more decimals just to see if you're rounding too early. So just to kind of make a point there about rounding. So that is it for the ice cream cone. Thanks for watching. See you later.